So today we are going to talk about the lymphatic drainage of head and neck. Out of 400 to 450 lymph nodes which are located in our body, most of the lymph nodes are present in the region of head and neck. So the knowledge of the lymphatic drainage is very important because few cancers which arise in this region have a predictable course or patterns of spread. So through these chains of lymph node. So that is why the knowledge of their location is important. Now, all the lymph nodes are draining in the vertical chain of deep cervical lymph nodes, which surrounds the internal jugular vein, or we can see the carotid sheath, which extends from the base of the skull to the root of the neck. And they are mostly under the cover. We can see here the one muscle is cut over here. So this is the sternocleidomastoid muscle. So these lymph nodes are present under the cover of the sternocleidomastoid muscle. So the lymph nodes are divided into two major groups, the upper group and the lower group. And how they are divided? They are divided by a tendon of, we have already learnt about this muscle. This is the tendon of omohyoid, uh, this tendon, and this is the superior belly of omohyoid, this is the inferior belly of omohyoid. So they are divided upper group and the lower group of lymph nodes. Or we can also say that at the bifurcation of the common carotid artery. So above to it is known as the upper group and lower to it is the lower group. So the upper group is also known as the jugulo-digastric nodes and the lower group is also known as the jugulo-omohyoid nodes. So let's look on to the jugulo-digastric nodes first. So the upper group of lymph node is the jugulo-digastric lymph nodes, and they are situated in a triangle which is formed here, which is bounded by the posterior belly of digastric, the facial vein and the internal jugular vein. So there is one triangle formed here by these three structures, and the jugulo-digastric lymph nodes are present in this triangle. And these lymph nodes, they receive afferent from the palatine tonsils and also from the posterior 1/3 of the trunk, whereas they drain into the lower deep cervical group of lymph nodes, which will be reading in the next slide. Now we can also say that the jugulo-digastric lymph nodes, they are actually the principal lymph nodes of the palatine tonsil. So in the lower group, we see that we have the jugulo-omohyoid nodes, which lie on the internal jugular vein just above the intermediate tendon. And these lymph nodes, they receive afferents from the tongue, directly from the tongue, and indirectly from the submental and the submandibular lymph nodes. And they are actually the principal lymph nodes of the tongue. And some of these lymph nodes are related in the supraclavicular fossa here. Supraclavicular fossa, and also related to the brachial plexus and the subclavian vessels. So they are also known as the supraclavicular lymph nodes. We have already studied these lymph nodes in when we did the posterior triangle. So if you remember, the left supraclavicular lymph nodes are clinically important because actually they are actually metastasizing from the malignant disease of the or malignant cancers of the stomach. So they are the Virchow's lymph nodes. This is a case presentation of the Virchow's lymph node. We can see here. So these are the enlarged lymph nodes in this case. Now most of the lymph nodes reaches the deep cervical lymph nodes, which we have already studied, after being filtered through the outlying lymph nodes, which are arranged in a form of a circle. So this circle extends from the this circle is like a pericervical collar, which is at the junction of head and neck, and it surrounds the head and neck from the chin to the occiput. So if we start seeing these lymph nodes, they include the submental group of lymph nodes, the submandibular group of lymph nodes. Then we have the buccal group of lymph nodes here, and then we have the parotid or the retroauricular lymph nodes and the occipital group of lymph nodes. Few lymph nodes, the superficial cervical lymph nodes and the anterior cervical lymph nodes, they are represented as the detached lymph nodes of the outer circle. We'll be seeing these lymph nodes in the subsequent slides. So in this dissection picture, if we see that this is the base of the mandible and this is the anterior belly of digastric, this is the posterior belly of digastric, and here we can see the submental triangle here, and we can see that few lymph nodes are there. So they are 3 to 4 in number. So these are the submental lymph nodes, and they are mainly situated on a muscle which forms the floor of the mouth, and we can see that muscle also, that is the mylohyoid muscle. And they, from where do they receive afferents? They are receiving afferents mainly from the tongue, tip of the tongue, the floor of the mouth, from the gums, the lingual and the labial gums, which is opposite to the incisor teeth. And now if we talk about the submandibular group of lymph nodes, they they are present mainly in this triangle, which is the digastric triangle, and we can see a gland also which is present over here. This is the submandibular gland, and we can see few black color things. So these are the lymph nodes. We can see that the gland is in lighter color uh, as compared to the lymph nodes, and we can see one looping artery here. So this is the facial artery, and so the submandibular lymph nodes are usually 3 in number. So one is anterior to the submandibular gland, and the rest are present on each side of the facial arteries. So here these two lymph nodes are present on either side of the facial artery, and these lymph nodes, they mainly receive afferents from the medial angle of the eye, from the side of the nose, from the cheek, and also from the angle of the mouth, from the upper lip, from the lateral part of the lower lip, from the anterior two-thirds of the tongue, also from the infraorbital foramen and the lower gums to the mental foramen, and also from few sinuses, that is the frontal, maxillary, and most of the ethmoidal sinuses. And these afferent mainly drain into the jugulo-omohyoid, and also some part drain into the jugulo-digastric nodes. Now, if we see that the buccal group of lymph nodes are also present, and they are present on the lateral surface of the buccinator muscle. So here is the buccinator muscle, and we can also see that it is along the facial vein here. This is the facial vein, and these are the buccal group of lymph nodes. Then the other group of lymph nodes are the parotid group of lymph nodes, and these may lie on, or they can lie within the parotid gland. Then the retroauricular group of lymph nodes, or they are also known as the mastoid group of lymph nodes, they are actually located superficial to the sternocleidomastoid. Then we have the occipital group of lymph nodes, and they are actually located on the apex of the posterior triangle, and they are superficial to this trapezius muscle, and also they are very closely related to one artery here at the apex of the posterior triangle, that is the that is the occipital artery, and they receive mainly the afferents from the posterior part of the scalp. Now if we talk about the superficial cervical nodes, they are situated superficially to the sternocleidomastoid muscle, and they are actually located along the external jugular vein, and they are mainly the extensions of the parotid lymph nodes. Now, second group which we left was the anterior cervical lymph nodes, and they are situated along the anterior jugular veins, and they also lie in the suprasternal space, and They are mainly the extensions of the submandibular group of lymph nodes. We have seen the lymph nodes which are present in the outer circle. Now let's see the inner circle. So the inner circle is formed by the lymph nodes which actually lies deep to the investing layer of deep cervical fascia. The first lymph node which is present in the inner circle is the pre-laryngeal group of lymph nodes. So the pre-laryngeal group of lymph nodes are just found in front of the cricothyroid membrane or the conus elasticus. Then the second one is the pretracheal group of lymph nodes, and they are present just in front of the trachea and below the isthmus of the thyroid gland. Then the paratracheal group of lymph nodes, these lymph nodes actually lie in between the trachea and the esophagus on both the sides and along the recurrent laryngeal nerves. Then the last is the retropharyngeal group of lymph nodes. They lie posterior. So this is we are seeing the pharynx from posteriorly. This is the base of the skull, and posteriorly we are seeing the constrictor muscles, and we can see that the retropharyngeal group of lymph nodes are present here, and they are actually lying posterior to the pharynx and in front of the prevertebral fascia or the retropharyngeal space. So in this figure, we can appreciate both the outer circle and the inner circle, and we have already seen the lymph nodes which are present in the outer circle: the submental, the submandibular, the preauricular, the postauricular, occipital, and we have just seen the inner circle lymph nodes: the prelaryngeal, pretracheal, also the paratracheal and the retropharyngeal. And ultimately both the circles, they are draining into the deep cervical group of lymph nodes. And just deep to the inner circle, also there is a submucosal ring of the lymphoid tissue which is known as the Walde's ring. So Walde's ring is a submucosal ring of lymphoid tissue. So this is a sagittal section of head and neck, and in this we can see the nasopharyngeal tonsils here, and this is the opening of the auditory tube. So we can see the over it we have the tubal tonsils, and here we have the palatine tonsils. So they all constitute to form a ring in this. If one opens the mouth, it is like a ring in the form of ring. So it is actually the Walde's ring. It is known as the Walde's ring. The surgeons classify the lymph nodes in the neck into the following levels. Actually, when operating to remove a malignant lesion, it is important to understand the patterns of the spread of these lymph nodes. So the level 1 is the submental group, the level 2 is the submandibular group, the level 3 is jugulo-digastric group, level 4 is jugulo-omohyoid group, level 5 is the posterior triangle group with the supraclavicular group of lymph nodes, and level 6 is the anterior midline group. So in a classical radical neck dissection, it involves the removal of these lymph nodes and also the removal of the sternocleidomastoid muscle along with the internal jugular vein and the spinal accessory nerve. But in modified radical neck dissection, these lymph nodes are involved, but it spares either some structures like sternocleidomastoid muscle, internal jugular vein, and the spinal accessory muscle. In selective neck dissection, it involves only some, but not all the group of the lymph